Hi, and welcome back to the Ultimate Frontline Leadership Training Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Quinn, and if you've made it this far, you've decided at least to take a look at what it takes to be a world-class manager. When you're through with the next 4 videos, and if you put them into practice every day, you'll be among the top 10% of managers in the workplace today. From what I've seen working for some of the biggest companies in America, this is an understatement. But just in case I missed a huge tribe of well-trained managers hiding out in some large but underappreciated company somewhere, we'll just stick with the top 10% in the nation. Reality is it's probably a lot higher than that. Now to start things off, you'll need a never-ending to-do list. Many things a frontline manager needs to do during their shift surround the usage of this tool. I call it a never-ending to-do list because rarely will you ever get everything on your list crossed off. If you do, you're probably not putting everything you need to do on that list, and you're also probably forgetting to do things that other managers are then having to do for you, which will affect your working environment in a bad way. If your fellow managers or even employees are irritated with you, this one tool could help reduce those missed opportunities to succeed. All you'll need is a notebook that easily fits into a shirt pocket or some pocket that you can access easily, and a pen or pencil. You could use an app on your phone if you prefer, but pulling out your phone all the time can wear the phone out faster than usual. And you could lose it, drop it, break it, etc. So I usually use my notebook for lists and my phone for alarms that remind me when important events need to happen, like an hour before the day cooks leave, so I can inspect the cook's line and make sure it's cleaned and stocked for the night crew. I also hate to use my cell phone in public, where customers or my crew can see me. Most businesses impose a cell phone no-fly zone because so many employees use phones for text, games, etc., and it can be very distracting. Everyone has seen someone who is constantly on the phone, and customers find it distracting and even disrespectful to see someone exhibiting that same behavior when their needs are going unmet. Leave your phone in your pocket when out and about. You'll get more respect and cooperation from everyone concerned, especially if people around you cannot use their phone, but they see you on it all the time. Also, something I've learned is people love to see the manager writing down their complaints when talking to them about an issue. Having a manager write down what you're saying makes everyone feel listened to and important. This notebook will also help you when you need to refer to a specific thing said, or when you spoke to someone, or when a project got completed by whom. You can also use these notes if you need to document a serious problem or issue, and you can refer to it months later should the same employee have the same issue or the customer the same problem. Some of the things I've found useful to put in this notebook are the list needs to have a date. Like every day, you'll start the day off, you put the date on the top of the page, and you'll just start working a brand new list on that day while remembering to go back to previous days and look to see if anything never got done on those days and finish that stuff today. You'll also need the name of the person you delegated the item to, what time to follow up, and a done or not done column at the end so you can check it off and move on to other items or go back to the employee and make some new items for the next day. Now, I usually check the item when it's done, or I asterisk the item if not. Then create another to-do item that just explains what I did to make the item complete, like delegated it to someone else and why, or talk to the teammate to make sure this doesn't happen again, etc. If something more important suddenly came up and they needed to take care of that instead, I make a note of it and delegate that item to somebody else, or maybe to that same person on a different date. Just like not every excuse is a valid one, not every excuse is just an excuse either. Now, people are usually very consistent, so use their track record to guide you with how to proceed. You can get to-do items from the general manager or any of the other managers, or customers or even teammates who pointed out some deficiency somewhere. Often you will end the day with some items still on your list. These leftover items will be carried over to the next day unless someone else takes care of it on their shift. Don't forget to say thank you if that's the case. Now, when you as a manager begin a shift, you'll need to walk around the unit and see how things are going, talk to the people already there, etc. This is where you'll get most of your to-do items. Now, as you walk around the unit looking for things that need to be done, need to be cleaned, need to be fixed, repaired, cleaned up, stocked, etc., you need to use your hands to do these inspections because just looking with your eyes, you're not going to see everything that needs to be done. Oftentimes, boxes that are in front have dates, and the boxes that are in back have dates, and the ones in the back need to have newer dates than the ones in the front, etc. It's called FIFO, first in, first out. If everything looks really good on the front, how do you know that's the way it looks in the back? How do you know people just didn't get lazy and just shoved boxes up in the front and now all the new stuff's in the front? It's all looks nice and beautiful, but all the older stuff's in the back and it's rotting and you're going to have to throw that away and it's going to take a hit on your P&L. So make sure that you use your hands when you're doing these inspections. Get them out of your pockets and move things around. Make sure that what you see is actually what's going on and not just what the employee wanted you to see. I've got some examples up here that'll show you some of the fun things that employees have done to try to say, yeah, I don't really feel like doing this. I'll make somebody else do it. I'm just going to make it look like I'm done and I'm going to get out of here. So make sure you use your hands. Remember, managers have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 2 hands, and 1 mouth. And you should use them in that ratio. Also, a communications log should be present so managers who might not see you because of your different shifts can communicate with you. Check this. If you don't have one, make one. Managers need to communicate with each other. I know a lot of you are already workers in the businesses you want to be a manager in. And some of you feel your memory is so great that you don't need a paper memory slowing you down. Great. Let me know how that goes. Now, I don't know you, but I do know the job. And there are so many moving parts. Minor emergencies, large emergencies, sick calls, product orders, customer issues, etc. I've noticed that the following saying really rings true. Never trust your fortune to your memory. Now, you may be okay for a while, but sooner or later, your memory limits are going to be tested. And if you fail, bad things can happen. Not to mention that if you don't have a written record of a discussion with an employee or customer, it'll be a hard sell to try to say your memory is better than theirs, especially if that memory belongs to a stubborn and irate customer. A written log wins all memory arguments, and most legal ones too. There's another use for this notebook that I found incredibly useful. If you turn the notebook over, you're greeted with blank pages on the back of the book. Use this half of the book to write down customer descriptions and names. I've used this a lot as some of my regulars only come in once in a while, and I don't always get their names right. Nobody likes it when you forget their name, no matter how many times they say, it's okay, it's okay. If you haven't read How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, then you should go online and buy it. One of the many useful things inside this book is the revelation that the most famous word in just about everyone's language is their own name. Learn it, use it, and people will like you more and respond to you better than the people who skip names because they're so hard to remember. Now, the book's around 100 years old, but people haven't evolved much in that time, and these principles are still relevant today. I also use this side of the book to write down any major customer issues. It helps me identify repeat complainers, repeat server fails, and just about anything I may want to remember at a later date. Most of the things you will do during your shift can be supported by your consistent usage of this tool. So remember, the notebook is for keeping your reputation from getting things done out of the crapper. And the phone is used for alarms so you don't forget important events when the day starts getting crazy. The next video is about one of the most important uses for this notebook, delegation. Now, most people know what that is, but few people know the secret for making it work and having people actually do the things you ask them to do. So until then, take care.